Coming up next on Newswatch.
Snow caused some major problems around southeast Ohio today, but the storm has not passed quite yet.
Zika in Ohio. A woman in Cleveland has tested for the disease.
And local high school basketball saw seasons end last night and others put on hold due to weather today. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
Mother Nature took its toll on southeast Ohio last night, causing some cancellations and delays. Good evening, I'm Carly Bell.
And I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Thanks for joining us. Ohio University students woke up to a surprise morning class cancellation. The Athens campus reopened at 11:30 a.m. and classes resumed at noon. Some students thought all classes should have been canceled.
Yeah, it actually canceled my first two classes, but my last class was still on, which was kind of depressing because, I thought I'd get a whole snow day off, but then I realized I had to get up and actually do some work.
According to the Ohio Department of Transportation, majority of the snow is cleaned up, but they are patrolling throughout the night for more snowfall. ODOT works around the clock, and in every 12-hour shift, they cover roughly 200 miles of snow-covered roads. ODOT highway technician Josh Carr says they are prepared for any snowfall tonight.
Yeah, we'll have crews coming in at midnight. I think there'll be 11 coming in, so there'll be 11 trucks out on the road. We've got plenty of salt and brine and bead heat, so we'll be ready.
All Athens County government buildings were also closed today, with the exception of the prosecutor's office. Now, we obviously had a lot of snow that covered our roads last night. Dalton Lochran is in the Weather Center. Are we going to see more snow this week?
Hi, Mackenzie. Yes, we'll probably see a little bit more tonight and through tomorrow as a couple more inches will fall. As we see across the region, some colder temperatures that'll produce some good fluffy snow for the rest of the night. And we see hour by hour at our daytime. Overnight, we'll see some snow that gradually will decrease and be harder at times.
Thanks a lot, Dalton. A Cleveland woman has tested positive for the Zika virus. She's the first to test positive in Ohio. The Ohio Department of Health says she began experiencing symptoms at the end of January while in Haiti. She was not hospitalized and returned to Ohio. Zika has been confirmed in 13 other states, including Indiana and Pennsylvania, which also had their first cases confirmed today. In the fight for cheaper prescriptions, the Ohio Supreme Court has dismissed a lawsuit against Secretary of State John Husted. Supporters of the so-called Drug Price Relief Act sued Husted last month after he asked local elections boards to further review petition signatures. The proposed law is aimed at keeping the state from buying drugs at prices higher than the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs pays. The number of painkiller prescriptions written in the state of Ohio continues to decline. The Ohio Board of Pharmacy released that the state dispensed 701 million painkillers, which is down 12% from 2012. The data also showed a 71% decline in the number of patients hopping from doctor to get drugs, thanks to the new computerized reporting system.
And a spike in inmates means Ohio needs a new prison. However, prison director Gary Moore is saying he will not ask for the estimated $1 billion to build it. Ohio has 400 more prisoner inmates than a year ago, and the female inmate population has increased nearly 5% in the last year. Managing Director of Operations Ed Voorhees says Moore has vowed to resign if he has to ask for a new prison. Voorhees says a large part of the population consists of low-level, nonviolent offenders who are better treated in the community. And West Virginia lawmakers are voting on a proposal to require drug testing of some welfare applicants. The bill would seek federal approval to the test applicants that have a, quote, reasonable suspicion of drug use. Failing the first test would require a substance abuse treatment and counseling. A second failure would have a 1-year suspension of benefits, and a third failure would lead to permanent ban.
There are still high levels of lead in SEBRING water. The Ohio EPA found lead in tap water of 6% of the homes in the latest round of tests. Out of 618 homeowners that submitted tap water samples, a total of 30 homes had high levels of lead so far. The EPA says it's working with the village to minimize the amount of lead leaking from pipes. The mayor of Flint, Michigan announced a $55 million proposal earlier today to remove lead piping from the city's water system. It's a bid to fix the city's toxic water crisis as quickly as possible. First priority is going to high-risk households. Official also said homes with children and pregnant women would also receive first priority. The project is said to begin next month. The former owner of Freedom Industries was sentenced to 3 years probation on a pollution charge. William Tiss also received a fine of $20,000 Monday in federal court in Charleston. 3 other former Freedom Industries officials received a probation sentence last week. 2 others will be sentenced later this month. The company itself was fined $900,000 last week, but a judge says it was symbolic, seeing that the fine won't ever be paid.
And thanks in part to good weather, more deer were killed by hunters this past season. Just over 188,000 white-tailed deer checked this fall. That's up from nearly 176,000 checked last fall. The increase came even as the state lowered bag limits and eliminated antlerless permit use in most counties. And today is Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, or really whatever you want to call it. It marks the day before the Christian season of Lent. WOUB reporter Catherine Blaine takes a deeper look into what Lent means for Christians in Athens.
Lent is the Christian season leading up to Easter. Over the next 40 days, Christians will focus on simple living, prayer, and fasting. Local pastors are preparing for the time of year here in Athens.
I guess the main thing is that you try to detach from the goods of the earth, not because they're bad, but because you're trying to root out any disordered desires you might have for them so you can cling to God more fully.
Some people think of Lent as a time when Christians give up sweets or diet. But Father Jonas Schell says Lent is a time to reflect and improve relationships with others.
Things that I would tell people is to look for what bothers you in life. Like, if people annoy you constantly in a certain situation, maybe you can figure out something to give up that way.
Lent begins tomorrow on Ash Wednesday. Christian parishes will be holding services around the area. This service recognizes the importance of death. And then when Easter comes, the church will celebrate new life.
We begin Lent facing our own mortality, but then on Easter Sunday we celebrate the fact that we are a resurrection people, that death doesn't have power over us.
And Father Jonas Schell tells WOUB that fish fries will be held every Friday to celebrate Lent. The fish fries start at 4:30 and go until 7 at night at Christ the King on the corner of Mill and Stewart Street, and anyone is welcome. The results of the New Hampshire primary aren't in yet, but Ohio's governor already has something to be happy about.
Another candidate is considering entering the 2016 presidential race. And President Obama announces his final spending plan, and it's the largest one yet. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
What's happening, TVC basketball fans? My name is Sean Neidig, the host of Hardwood Heroes. Hardwood Heroes is a weekly half-hour show that airs on WOUB at 11 Sunday night and again at 6 on Monday. We provide you with the best Southeastern Ohio high school basketball coverage in the area, both on our show and on the web. Our reporters are at over 20 games every week to recap, so there is no way you can miss us. So tune in to Hardwood Heroes on Sunday night. And until then, I'm your host, Sean Neidig, reminding you to be heroic.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
There is just over an hour left in voting in the nation's first primary in New Hampshire. 3 tiny polling stations voted last night at midnight. In Dixville Notch, a village with a population of 12 people, Bernie Sanders got all 4 Democratic votes. John Kasich beat out Donald Trump 3 votes to 2. Sanders and Kasich also won the poll in Hart, while Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton came out on top in the tiny township of Millsfield. These are just a fraction of the hundreds of thousands of votes that will be cast today.
We're continuing to do well, and we think we have the momentum. And we're going to take a big plane tonight down to South Carolina. We've been traveling around like sardines, and now all the press wants to go. It's pretty interesting to be in the center of this tsunami.
Following New Hampshire's primary is South Carolina. Their Republican primary is set for Saturday, February 20th. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg may jump into the presidential race. This is the first time he's openly discussed a presidential bid. Bloomberg says he's considering all his options. He took a close look at what the candidates are doing and how the voters are responding. Bloomberg does admit he would need to get his name on ballots by early March in order to start a serious campaign. He's expected to self-fund any presidential campaign.
And President Obama proposed a record $4.1 trillion spending plan in his final White House budget. $2.9 trillion is dedicated to deficit reduction over 10 years, ranging from health to immigration reform. $955 billion is set aside for deficit reduction by cutting tax benefits for high-income households. A proposed $11 billion is for the Department of Defense to fight the Islamic State and to stabilize Syria. Congress can advance parts of the budget without fully approving Obama's entire proposal. And remember the Lehman Brothers? The bank became synonymous with disaster after its bankruptcy sparked the 2008 financial crisis. But now it's back in a whiskey form. A British real estate investor named James Green filed to use the term for his line of whiskeys. With names like Ashes of Disaster and Snapfire, Green references the Lehman disaster in his new brand, suggesting that one of the whiskeys goes perfect with reckless maneuvers, long gambles, and explosive consequences. Barclays Bank filed in 2014 to stop Green using the name. It has not yet commented on the case.
Since the Lehman Brothers and the stock market crash, we've been living in a pretty bull market. But what do the terms bull market and bear market even mean? And how exactly do they affect you? Diane Gallagher explains.
Bull market, bear market, these are words that are tossed around all the time, but what exactly do they mean, and do they really have anything to do with you? Simply put, a bull market is trending up, a bear market is trending down. Now, we've been living in a mostly bull market for at least the past 5 years, so in order for it to switch, we need to see a 20% dip from the highest point of last year.
Usually, market turmoil doesn't cause a recession, but it can predict a recession, and I think that's what everyone's grappling with right now.
And 2016 has been pretty rough so far.
The market is off to a terrible start in 2016. All 3 major indexes are down.
A major culprit? That cheap gas you've been enjoying. The energy sector stocks have been suffering because of the free-falling price of oil.
Energy companies have really been taken to the woodshed, to put it bluntly. You have pretty much every major oil company is down.
So if you want to keep that good feeling you're getting from filling your gas tank without emptying your wallet, you might want to avoid looking at your 401k right now.
You never want to be checking it on a day-to-day basis. That's when emotions start to get involved and you may make the wrong decisions. Assuming you're not that close to retirement, sit this out, don't sweat it.
In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
Today, the stock market fell slightly. Here's a look at some stocks of local interest. African-American dancing and discussions about self-confidence. Michelle Obama invited students to her home, and WOUB was there. That story is still ahead.
And coming up next on Newswatch, I'll talk about how we have a winter storm still around, possible school closings tomorrow, and my extended forecast.
Nestled in the heart of the Hocking Valley sits a town with a story. A story carved from mountains of coal, mixed with a little clay and sprinkled with a dash of culture. It's a story of national significance and local pride. A story rooted in the past that's still being written today. Join WOUB on March 19th at Nelsonville York High School for the premiere of Our Town, Nelsonville.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
All right, welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Dalton Lochran. Currently in Athens, it's 26 degrees, winds around southwest at 10 miles per hour, and we see the high humidity of 88%. As we look at the temperatures across the region, we see 26 in New Lexington, 26 here in Athens, while 24 down in Ripley. As we look at the almanac, we're right around average for this time at 32 for our high today. Normal is about 34. With our lows about the same, only a 2 degrees difference. Sunset tonight was at 5:57 p.m. As we look at our precipitcast, we see all the snow and ice that's right now in our region that we've been dealing with since yesterday. It'll still stick around through tomorrow and tomorrow night. While tomorrow night won't be as severe, we'll see lingering freezing rain here and there come Thursday, but nothing too serious. As we look at overnight lows tonight, we see 18 degrees here in Athens, 21 in Cambridge, 20 in New Martinsville, while 16 down in Ripley. Tomorrow's highs, we'll see 25 degrees in Athens, 22 in Newark, and 25 down in Ironton. These cold temperatures will ramp up the snow, and that's how we'll get more accumulations of around 2 to 4 inches. Nothing too serious, but it'll be fluffy snow, so easy to move out of the area. 18 degrees here in Athens tonight with moderate snow. Some frigid temperatures for most of us who are not used to this by now because we've been used to those warm temperatures for this time of year. At the bus stop tomorrow morning, 18 degrees with some light snow showers, breezy at times with winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we look over the day tomorrow, we'll see around 8 a.m., we'll see 50% chance of snow and a 60% chance around noon, while 4 o'clock we'll see that 60% chance, but as the evening goes on tomorrow, we'll see those percent chances diminish. Tomorrow in Athens, 25 degrees with snow, mostly cloudy. As we look at our extended forecast, we'll see 60% chance of snow tomorrow with a high of 25 degrees. As we look for the weekend, Saturday, fairly cold, 3 degrees for our low. Probably see negative temperatures that night as we look throughout the rest of the week, we'll see a high of 34 on Monday and a high of 37 on Tuesday. Now over to you, Carly.
Thanks a lot, Dalton. There was a lot of dancing going on at the White House yesterday as the First Lady celebrated Black History Month. WOUB's Washington correspondent Erica King has more.
First Lady Michelle Obama celebrated Black History Month through dance at the White House yesterday. Obama invited 51 local Washington students to learn the history of African American dance. There, the students attended a workshop discussing topics like self-confidence and hard work. 51 local African American student dancers joined First Lady Obama today in celebration of Black History Month. But she wasn't the only one they performed in front of. She was joined by 4 special guests. The students performed in front of African American dance icons Debbie Allen, Judith Jamison, Virginia Johnson, and Fatima Robinson. The dance artists also choreographed dances for the students who learned them only hours before their performances. Obama ended the day by thanking the families and dancers and encouraged everyone to celebrate Black History Month not only in February, but every day. Reporting for WOUB News in Washington, I'm Erica King.
The White House theme for Black History Month this year is honoring the past while celebrating the present. 7 years of living African American history. First Lady Obama plans to have more events this month. Let's throw it over to Abby for sports.
Thanks, Carly. The ladies' high school basketball tournament has started. Find out how the local teams are faring, while the boys' teams are still waiting to get to the courts for this week's competition. Next on Newswatch. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
What's happening, TVC basketball fans? My name is Sean Neidig, the host of Hardwood Heroes. Hardwood Heroes is a weekly half-hour show that airs on WOUB at 11 Sunday night and again at 6 on Monday. We provide you with the best Southeastern Ohio high school basketball coverage in the area, both on our show and on the web. Our reporters are at over 20 games every week to recap, so there is no way you can miss us. So tune in to Hardwood Heroes on Sunday night. And until then, I'm your host, Sean Neidig, reminding you to be heroic.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back, I'm Abby Carnevale. A number of teams cancel games around the TVC tonight due to the hazardous weather. 3 of the postponed games have been rescheduled. Meigs, Vinton County, Eastern, and Federal Hocking are set to play tomorrow night. The Bulldogs meeting with the Buckeyes will be played this Saturday, February 13th, and the Lady Tomcats were set to face off against Wahama in the final TVC girls matchup of the season. while the Miller boys were slated against Southern. Both of those games don't have a makeup date at this time. Playing games for the girls' basketball district tournament kicked off last night. Athens and Federal Hocking squared off against different opponents, but ended the night with the same results. Fouls and turnovers troubled the Lady Lancers and allowed South Gallia to snag the 45-38 win. Foul trouble was also a problem for the Lady Bulldogs, resulting in Gallia Academy sneaking away with a 43-40 victory. South Gallia and Gallia Academy will move on to the next round of tournament play, and Gallia Academy plays Warren tomorrow, where South Gallia will follow on Thursday against Waterford. The Ohio men's basketball team is on the road tonight at Ball State after a 3-game homestand. The Cats' first matchup against the Cardinals earlier back in January on the 9th was their 10th win of the 2015-2016 season, as they used their accuracy at the charity stripe to propel them in the second half to a 79-73 win. Redshirt sophomore Jerron Simmons and junior Antonio Campbell both posted career highs at the time of the game with 21 and 27 points respectively. The Cats are closing in on the conference tournament and will be using the next few games to secure home court in the first round of the tournament. Now moving over to the professional level, LeBron James is still nursing his sprained wrist back to health after being cleared last Friday, but that didn't affect his performance at all against the Kings last night. The Cavs topped Sacramento 120-100 in the Q, but that wasn't what was making headlines. LBJ earned his 40th career triple-double, scoring 21 points, 10 assists, and 10 boards, and it only took 3 quarters to do so. He sat out the fourth quarter and enjoyed the sellout crowd in attendance. Now the Johnny Manziel saga continues, with the latest update putting blame on the Browns organization for misdiagnosing a concussion he had the last week of the regular season. The QB was out the final game of this season after the Browns diagnosed him with a concussion, and Adam Schefter and the NFL Network reported that the Browns were covering up Manziel arriving at their facility drunk on December 30th, complaining of symptoms related to concussions. 3 of the postponed games have... Now that's all we have for sports today. Back over to Mackenzie at the news desk.
Thanks, Abby. And we've already talked about it, but today people around the world are celebrating the day before Ash Wednesday. Be it Mardi Gras, Carnival, or Fat Tuesday, this weekend WOUB foreign correspondent Zahara Pruitt attended Carnival in Venice. Partygoers dress in masks and costumes while attending balls, parades, concerts, and street performances to celebrate. The celebration is to prepare for the 40-day Lent season that begins tomorrow. Now let's send it back over to Dalton for a final look at weather.
Hi, if we look at the weather overnight tonight here in Athens, we'll see 18 degrees, moderate snow with frigid temperatures again, with winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. As we'll see, we currently are under a winter advisory until 1 p.m. tomorrow, but don't worry too much. We'll see about 2 inches at most, maybe 4. We might push there, but I wouldn't expect much. As we see over tomorrow, our high of 25 degrees, snow again, mostly cloudy. Snow will be heavy at times in the early morning. As we get on later on that afternoon, we will see around 4 p.m. the snow will really diminish. We'll see light flurries throughout the region. As we look at our 7-day forecast again, we'll see 25 degrees for our high tomorrow, 60% chance of snow. As we look out throughout the rest of the week, we'll see a cool down on the weekend, and the temperatures we'll see 3 degrees and 9 degrees for the weekend lows. And we see for the rest of the early next week, we'll see a warm up close to 40 degrees.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt.
And I'm Carly Bell. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime online at woub.org. Have a great night.
What's happening, TVC basketball fans? My name is Sean Neidig, the host of Hardwood Heroes. Hardwood Heroes is a weekly half-hour show that airs on WOUB at 11 Sunday night and again at 6 on Monday. We provide you with the best Southeastern Ohio high school basketball coverage in the area, both on our show and on the web. Our reporters are at over 20 games every week to recap, so there is no way you can miss us. So tune in to Hardwood Heroes on Sunday night. And until then, I'm your host, Sean Neidig, reminding you to be heroic.